But also keep in mind, I'm a stripper and I do only, so my standard of man is really high.
But
Wait,
why is that high? I'm on ØnlyFans as well. You cannot say you're a valuable woman if
it's
every
high
guy.
because of that?
Yes, it's high because men give me money for nothing. So
Do you do scenes with men? That makes a difference.
So in the 6 years of me doing, I've done 4 male scenes.
So you want a man that's high value, only commits to you, but you can go to your job and be like, yeah, it's just work.
Well,
I'm doing the same work. I do not do scenes with men, but
you accept less. So my definition of high value is different than yours.
So you're being naked every strip week is me accepting more of a man.
It's all
than me
about
expecting.
perspective. In my perspective, yes. In your perspective, I don't deserve a high value man.
Can you man be a gigolo or anything like that? Can he be a gigolo or anything? Can he go every day?
No.
But you can.
Yes. And they have to be okay with it or not, and that's their decision, which makes my pool of men much smaller, and I acknowledge that and I accept that.
So then your pool of men will be more high valuable than.
And like I said, everyone at this table's definition of high value is completely different. So we can't use high value. So if you say that, I can't say, oh yes, high value, high value. I'm explaining to you what my definition of high value. A high value man, to my opinion, is someone who will respect my work, respect my past, and still want to do that stuff for me.
I can concede that the definitions that everybody will have of high value would be different, but you would also have to concede that there's going to be uniformities which are agreed upon about what is not high value. So for instance, let me give you an example of this in real time. At the table, raise your hand if a high value man beats out of you.
Sorry, I thought you said doesn't. My bad.
No. Okay. So we can. So then we can rule many things out as at least not being that thing.
Yeah.
Right. So so hang on. So if we can rule a bunch of things out that aren't the thing, I think we can at least get somewhat closer to the agreement of what the thing itself is. So when you're talking about high value, don't you think that society, especially women, would view men who have more money than men who have less money as being probably more valuable, all things equal? Meaning if they have the same looks, generally the same personality, one just happens to be far richer, don't you think that the one would be considered generally more high valuable than the other by almost everybody's metric?
I agree with you completely, and what's actually people don't realize or don't want to admit is that girls and strippers, we get the most high value men approaching us.
No, because they're paying you for a good time.
Well, hang on. You're definitely not marrying them, and you're definitely not ending up with them, and that's definitely not who you end up getting a ring from and living the happily ever after Julia Roberts' Pretty Woman life with, right?
Transaction.
I will agree that for a time in your youth, that many of what you would consider these traits for high value, rich, handsome, this type of thing, probably do approach you around that age group. But I'm not sure what that proves exactly.
So it proves
what
is that
means exactly.
That story of that first date I went on where the guy brought me flowers on his birthday, 5-star restaurant. I met him at the club. I've met his parents. He wants to pursue something serious with me. So your point is wrong.
Well, no. Okay. Well, how come then? I see so many tales of kind of former strippers on panels like these, hundreds upon hundreds of them all across the world, being interviewed by various people where they say, man, I really wish I hadn't done that because later in life it brought my value down such that I could not net the thing that I truly wanted. When I was in my 20s, men would utilize this for their own gain, but they were never putting a ring on it.
So the reason why they do that is because by doing or by being prostitutes, they did something that went against their morals and values. I can sleep at night.
No, I don't think they're not talking about morals and values. Most of them are secularists, in fact. They don't have any objective morals or values. They just say, the thing that I wanted later in life.
And that's the problem and why they're unhappy in their lifestyle. I can sleep at night saying, I have not done anything that goes against my morals and values, and I'm happy. And I have men who want to take me seriously.
I'm not saying it's against your morals or your values, though.
I'm answering your question. The reason why so many girls...
But you haven't even heard my argument. How could you answer to it?
Well, you said, why do so many girls on these panels who are ex-prostitutes or whatever.
Yeah,
They
but
would,
your argument to that was to say it's because they did something which violated their morals or values. I'm telling you, no, they don't have any objective morals or values. They're saying this is fine within my moral paradigm. It's just that it made me miserable later in life because, as it turns out, when you're 35 and you 200 men, and the beauty which is now fleeted, most men look at that and go, well, I'd rather not have that, right?
well, that sucks for them.
Do you still date that man because he gave you
do you
everything?
disagree that it's true?
You're still dating him?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes. 15 to 22, just like you, he still provided for me.
Yeah, but like 25 is still school age or
Yeah.
not. So how can he like really be
Not in
already
America.
that top level man already? That's
No,
hard on a
not
man.
for me.
It's a lot of pressure on a man actually.
So then I'm going to look something different than you would.
No, that's okay, but it's quite a lot of pressure you put on a man, right?
Well, he can accept it or not.
Men's prime is typically actually like early 30s, I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
think
So
so too.
they're like still building themselves up during their 20s. I guess that's why I understand you're not. I'm just saying like my perspective. That's why like with the last guy that I liked, I understood he's still going to school, he's still sorting his stuff out, and I would support him, you know, if he needed help studying, like I'd be there with him, you know, trying to be like flashcards, you know, like little stuff like that. But I understand it's not for everyone.
And personally, I'm not dating guys my age. I'm dating older.
That already had something. So you will never help a man up, only date a man who already has the things.
I want someone who will make me better.
But that's also like then you provide from him, right? So you will not help a man up, but you want a man to help you up.
Yes.
It's a bit transactional.
That's a little.
Yeah.
It's the same
Call it
thing,
what
but
you
different.
want. That's what I want. And you want something different that doesn't make me wrong or you right or vice versa. It's just
You-
what I want and what you want.
You want to meet someone at the finish line, and for example, I want to run the race with them, basically. That's just how I would put it in terms.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I met my husband, he was going to full-time. He like went to full-time school and worked part-time, and I dropped out of school after like 2 months, and so I worked all the time. And I loved when he would pay, but our dates looked like we're gonna go get coffee or we're gonna go get chips and guacamole, like very non-expensive dates. And it was great because he had to be really creative with what he had. So I didn't expect to go on luxurious dates at all, but I did expect him to, like, if you don't have money, then go buy like a loaf of bread and we're gonna go give them to the ducks at the lake or something. But he was still in that sense providing, and I saw how he was working extremely hard in school to one day, you know, be a provider for a family.
And I'm not gonna lie, there's multiple ways to be chivalrous as well, in my opinion, like opening doors or like, you know, I've had a man even like buckle me into my seat and like stuff like that, like, or cut my food for me. You know, maybe he can't pay for the bill, but he'll cut my food for me because he knows I like it in small pieces. Like,